Fairytale analog horror. These types of videos are getting hundreds of thousands, some even millions of views, and they are all so bad.
I wonder what will happen.
Foxymations. Today we get to explore a brand new series on this channel, one that covers a deep story with images and effects of tragedy, how the spiral of man can result in true evil, and how there is always someone controlling behind the scenes. But this series today is not a small channel, and I'm not covering them for recognition. This is a behemoth of a series with views similar to a series like the Walten Files. And due to the newest upload being regarded by the best thing to come out of the creators so far, there's no better time to cover it. But with this series having its fans, it also has its critics, with much criticisms towards its art style, storyline, and characters. So let me tell you what everyone has missed.
While a snake was crawling to its corner, it brushed against a saw lying on the floor. Biting it in anger, the snake severely wounded its mouth. The snake decided to wrap itself around the saw to suffocate it, squeezing with all its might.
The story is spread across 5 uploads, which can be enjoyed in less than an hour and a half. I'd strongly recommend you watch the series for yourself, then return back. But to overview quickly, we follow each character as they go through their journey through the classic fairy tales, starting with Little Red Riding Hood and the 3 Little Pigs. But something is off about the villain in the story, and let me introduce you to the main reason as to why I think this has so many views.
The wolf.
A long time ago, there was a boy whom everyone loved to mock. They enjoyed laughing at him because he was weak and fragile and didn't know how to defend himself. But one day, their pranks went too far. They set fire to the poor boy's house, and then he went mad. After all those pranks, he was consumed by fury and a thirst for revenge, and he became corrupted. He had become a cruel murderer, but he wanted to be something more. So, he went to a witch's house and knocked on the door.
I want to become a mortal, bloodthirsty and cruel creature, that nothing can stop me.
Alright, with the wolf's body in hand, I just need you to tell me, what is your greatest fear? Very well, I will transform you into a creature resembling a wolf. You will be immortal, cruel, and bloodthirsty, and you will be unstoppable, but do not dare to approach fire, or you will die. As a form of payment, I want your soul in exchange. Do you accept?
Can you find gasoline? Can you find a lighter?
Which leaves us to the last video in the timeline, Hansel and Gretel. With Hansel being killed off earlier in the series, Gretel is met with his soul asking her to save him.
Save me.
After much journey, she finds the witch's house where she gets all the backstory that was shown earlier. Then the witch tries to pull a fast one. Yeah, and that's pretty much the story of this series. For those who have seen the series, let's go over some Easter eggs to see which ones you caught. The dead hare in episode 1 is from the children's story Tortoise in the Hare. the classic race story where slow is better than fast. As well as The Fox was from the child's story The Fox and the Grapes, where I've never heard this story, but I think it's literally just a fox trying to eat grapes. As well as this transition being from a pretty popular horror game. But after watching the series, I have a theory, and I think you'll find it interesting.
All it takes is one bad day to reduce the sanest man alive to lunacy. That's how far the world is from where I am. Just one bad day.
I believe that the wolf is actually a victim in all of this. I don't think the wolf was always bloodthirsty. And check his dying monologue. I have been corrupted. Also, he tells Gretel to go look for her brother, and as well as he's the one who drags the witch into hell after being defeated. He has one common enemy, the witch. So that's why I believe that the witch actually lied to us, specifically about why the boy came to her. I believe what she said about the bullies burning down his house, and that the boy did come to her, but I think the boy only went on a massacre when he turned into the wolf, after he had been corrupted. I believe the boy came to her in desperation, and after turning into a wolf, she also gave him the wolf's bloodlust and lack of control, along with slowly puppeteering him to kill so she can collect souls. But that's the story up to this point. The series itself is uber popular, with many reaction channels cashing in on the success.
Oh my god, no! No! Just tell he's in it for the love of the game. I'm rooting for the wolf. I've gotta admire the work, y'all, I really do.
And with all this attention brings criticism, with three main criticisms of the series. Personally, I believe in one of them, so maybe you can try to figure out which one it is and tell me in the comments. Number one is the artistic choices of art style animation being similar to the Walten Files, that people believe it is a ripoff. And to that I say, the art style animation is absolutely inspired by the Walten Files. Even the creator says it himself in every description. But I do ask one thing. Is that a bad thing? To mimic another series style because it inspires you. But all that to say, I feel his most recent upload has his own style, and he continues to make all of this more of his own. Criticism 2 is that it's only a cheap cash grab to cash in on the analog horror genre using kids' stories, in which, because it's kids' stories, the algorithm pushes it more to kids. To this I say, I don't think this is the case. To those people saying it's a cheap cash grab, I do believe there's a lot of time and effort put into the animation here. There is way lazier stuff on YouTube, that black background with white text. Stuff like Batman Analog Horror, Man in the Suit, The Painter, I could go on. And to the portion about it pushing it to kids, I searched for quite a few minutes, Little Red Riding Hood and Three Little Pigs, and couldn't find that video anywhere, no matter how much I scrolled. And also, all of their thumbnails are darker, with most of them including bloody and gory images. So I don't think this was meant for kids, and I don't believe he was just doing this for views. Criticism 3 is AI voices, and I'll let some other channels take this one away.
I didn't agree with the AI voices. I think AI voices really take away from horror in general. Sometimes it can be good in a way if it's not overused in a way. But when that's your main kind of how you interact the story to the people, it's very immersion breaking. And having real people voice, or even just the text boxes at the bottom, would have created a much more kind of sinister environment for sure.
There's one thing that I can say that I don't really like. It's probably the voiceovers, because the wolf is definitely voice acted by someone. I don't know if they're voice acted by Foxymations, by the guy who's making all these animations, but the mother itself, is AI, I can hear that, and the children is AI with like voiceovers, like with filters put on top of that. And I'm gonna be honest, I would much rather, I mean, I can lend my voice. If you need like a voiceover of like any kind of goofy guy, I would love to lend my voice. I would much rather have like actual people be involved instead of it just being like AI voiceover, because it becomes like a little bit annoying from time to time when it's like AI and AI.
And I get a lot of people defend AI voices because if it's just starting out with no resources, it's fine. But what I say to that is there's so many YouTubers out there who will voluntarily do voice acting work without pay. Just making friends on YouTube, it makes everything more enjoyable and makes the community closer, which is always a win. So after all that criticism, you may ask, why does the series have close to 20 million combined views? And to that I say, although the animation is basic at times, and I think the text at the bottom is quite a gimmick, and that voice actors would have helped the series a lot, there was real thought and attention put into the story here. Across all uploads, there is a single story being told with real messages and real themes that continue to develop with each upload. And that's why he can put it all into one upload and it works, because it's one story. And I believe that maybe not yet, but this channel will produce something great in the future. And hey, I'll put my valet ticket out there. I can do voice acting work if you wish. Anyways, if you enjoy analog horror, make sure to watch some of my other videos and have a great day.